there ever not a presence of evil? When you feel you are alone, or perhaps at your most safe, are you? Or is the presence of evil there nonetheless, waiting for you, watching you, until you get too close? Or maybe evil tries its greatest trick of all and fools you into believing that it isn't even real at all. That is, of course, until it's just a little too late. In 1973, filmgoers lined up to witness something they could never have prepared for. Something unseen before then, that changed the way they viewed cinema and the world around them forever. A horror film that was far more than just a horror film. A film that caused viewers to further fear society around them during an already very dark hour for society. On December 26, 1973, filmgoers actually thought the devil himself was standing in the darkened theater alongside them. During this groundbreaking and remarkable film, The Exorcist, directed by William Friedkin. This is actual footage of people lining up around the block to see the film at its premiere. As well as actual footage of audiences' reactions and opinions of the film.
I'm not going back in there. I have a friend in there alone, and I don't want to leave her in there alone.
I'm not standing here shaking for nothing.
How about you?
It's very, very real.
I don't like it. I want to go home.
I thought it was very powerful. Just turned my mind.
Terrible.
But I just found it really horrible. I just had to come out. I couldn't take it more.
People are extremely depressed by this.
I've never in my life known a movie where people would faint. I mean, it's hard to make people faint.
Devil coming out of her.
I just couldn't take it. I'm going to stop here for the rest of the movie.
You're not going to go back?
No, I'm too scared. I never get scared. I am too scared.
I believe. I believe.
This is the second time we've seen it. We still can't happen.
Can't even describe it. It's horrible.
In many ways, The Exorcist is everything that horror movies are meant to be. A film that challenges you, dares you to open your eyes, dares you to uncover your ears.
Don't listen.
Fills you with adrenaline and frightens you until you do not even feel safe after the credits are done rolling. During a bygone era, The Exorcist was a film that turned the entire world upside down, telling the story of a single mother and actress who was living on location with her 12-year-old daughter, Regan. The mother, Chris, begins noticing strange things happening around the house, beginning with the attic. Strange noises, as well as things that are completely unexplainable. Then things begin to take a turn for the worse, when her daughter begins to behave strangely. And even while using a Ouija board, begins to talk to someone or something known as Captain Howdy.
Who's Captain Howdy?
You know, I make the questions and he does the answers.
Oh, Captain Howdy, I see.
Nice.
This seems playful until truly dark and horrible things begin to happen. Like when the director and friend of the film Chris is acting in, very unexpectedly, dies.
Haven't heard. Burke's dead. He must have been drunk. He fell down from the top of the steps right outside. By the time he hit M Street, he broke his neck.
Oh, God.
And Regan begins to act increasingly stranger, to the point that something is obviously very wrong.
You're gonna die up there.
Again? Oh, my God, honey. Honey, what's the matter?
Doctors do not seem to be able to help, and slowly but surely, it is suggested that she may be showing signs of what may be demonic possession.
Yes.
Regan's mother, Chris, is skeptical of the supernatural.
You ever heard of exorcism?
But finds herself at wit's end and begins to rely on a priest to save her daughter. Father Kirez is that priest. But Kirez is facing demons of his own, metaphorically. In mourning from the death of his mother, a death that he blames himself for happening.
Why you did this to me, demon? Why?
Is going through a downfall with his faith in God. But after a few meetings with Regan, witnessing horrors beyond anything of this world, he is convinced that this is the work of the devil. Kirez then teams up with a priest sent by the church named Marin, a man strong in his faith, and together they battle the devil as he dwells and tries to hold dominion in this poor 12-year-old girl. By 1973, film and literature had developed a fascination with the things of the occult, which had become downright mainstream.
If this is the truth, where does it end?
During a time when the United States was facing one crisis after another, The Exorcist came out at a perfect time to scare the ever-living wits out of American society. A film about a young girl being possessed by Satan, and watching it tear her and her family apart was the stuff of pure nightmares and paranoia at the time. However, for all the film's dark and horrifying imagery, and even dialogue said by Regan that shocked audiences, the film does remain a tale of good versus evil. The devil in the film, though powerful, is not glorified, and the priests, though seemingly outmatched at times, do represent actual good, and are not polluted with any messages that may refer to good being at a loss. Battling the devil with both the name of God and the literal name of Christ.
The power of Christ compels you!
As a true horror fan myself, I have never been a fan of evil outside of fiction, and I have never found myself, even in fiction, rooting for the devil. So as a young horror viewer, perhaps naive to some of the film's social commentary, I viewed the film as a story of good versus evil. And whether or not you choose to look at the film at its surface or at its roots, the film is a masterpiece of not only horror, but drama as well.
Isso é polículas menos. Pasto cravatis.
You're not my mother! Don't listen.
Why, Remy?
Damien.
And reaches far into the realms of great and classic cinema. The Exorcist, I truly believe, is one of the greatest films ever made. So now, let us venture to that bygone era mentioned earlier and view tonight's scene. When Father Merrin arrives, it is a truly memorable moment, and the very brief scene that follows is not only a great setup for the bold horrors to come, but begins to show the demon in Reagan's powerful presence.
Mrs. McNeil.
Yes.
I'm Father Merrin.
Come in.
Thank you. Is Father Karras here?
Yes.
Father?
He's here already.
Father Karras.
It's an honor to meet you, Father.
Are you very tired?
No.
This scene startled moviegoers with the unexpected crying out of Father Merrin's name. It not only was warning Merrin of what he was about to face, but also warning the audience to get a grip on their nerves and prepare for everything the latter half of this movie was about to unleash.
What is it?
Give you the gun! Shut up! Bastard!
Where's Reagan? In here with us.
This scene was also very eerily foreshadowed earlier in the movie, during a scene where Father Merrin is in Iraq and witnesses a vision of a large statue of the demon known as Pazuzu. This is taken as an omen that Merrin will have a confrontation with evil, and while mysterious at the time, it comes a bit full circle when he hears a subtle, though frightening moment in a film with dozens of scenes worth mentioning and worthy of being broken down and discussed. But this is the scene that works almost like a hinge that turns to introduce us to this battle of light versus darkness, which is what the film ultimately becomes.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
All leading to an unforgettable ending that I will not spoil here. The Exorcist would go on to be a tremendous hit, being at the time the 7th highest grossing film of all time, and the #1 R-rated film ever. People continued to see the film, some even waiting in long cold lines outside to see the film repeatedly. Nearly 50 years later at the time of this video, and this is still the exorcism and possession film that remains the standard for the subgenre, and is still often considered the scariest film of all time. Whether you agree with that or not, in 1973, the world had never witnessed something like this, and had never had a film make evil feel so close.
Amen.
It is most definitely not a rare thing for me to ask people what their favorite scary movies are and which scary films have frightened them the most. And there is a very good chance, honestly, that The Exorcist is the film I hear the most. Some people even say they refuse to watch the film, rather it's for a first or second time. But I say, rather you were one of those that were frightened all the way back in '73, or if you're someone now who is afraid to venture into the film for the very first viewing, I say, accept the challenge and let the power of horror compel you. That's not normal.